Morning everyone, my name's Stuart Farmer. I'm going to be taking you through how we can use InTouch Web to expand the reach of our visualization tools this morning. What I want to do first is just briefly discuss or just review what Andrew Graham covered in the last webinar. So last time Andrew talked about how we can build standards into our visualization. So how we can incorporate things like EMUA 191 standards, ISA 88, 99, 101 standards into our applications. Also data handling, how we can get real-time data, historical data, and how we can visualize that in our operational control. How we manage our alarms within our HMI or SCADA solution. And how we can centralize our solutions to fit within IT infrastructures. That webinar is available at the Wonderware UK website, Wonderware UK and Ireland website. If you wanted to review that, you can. It's available on demand. So what I'm going to talk about first is how we can expand the reach of the HMI or SCADA solution that we've designed and developed using those standards that we've already talked about in the previous webinar. So I'm not just talking about process data, I'm talking about real-time data, historical data, even alarm and event data that we can visualize in our cloud or web portals. So the first thing we can do with our data is publish that data to our cloud-hosted solution, which is Aviva Insight. Now, we've done previous webinars on the Aviva Insight tools. As you may be aware or may not be aware, that is a cloud-hosted historian solution that provides us access to our historical data via a portal. In typical Wonderware fashion, we have made that easier to incorporate and easier to publish that data from your HMI applications. So we've now built in the publisher into the InTouch tools. So as you see in the video, as we click through the publisher tool, you can see that it auto-populates the applications that we want to publish, and it connects automatically to those. Now you can, in this publisher, sign up to a new account, or you can connect to an existing account that you've already got in the Insight portal. So once you've added your credentials, you just need to give your published data a data source name. In this example, you see we just give it a name of demo site 1, and then we click on publish. And that's as simple as it needs to be. Any data tags that you've got set to historize data in your InTouch application will now be available in the Insight solution. And we've even made it possible via a button click to open the Insight portal, and it'll take you straight into the application that you've just published. And then from there, you're ready and able to work with the Insight tools. Like I just mentioned, we have got previous webinars on the Aviva Insight, or Wonderware Online as it was previously known. We've got webinars available that show you how to create context and how you can create dashboard and chart views via that tool. It is worth also noting that the publisher tool is available from within inside Window Maker as well. So not only can you access it from the InTouch Application Manager, you can get it from within Window Maker as well. So making it easier again to publish that data. So once we've published data, how do we visualize it? Well, with the Aviva Insight tool, that's done via a HTML5 browser tool. We can just interact with that historical data, and that you can then create your own content, formulate your own charts and dashboards, and you can publish that. You can also visualize it in mobile devices using the Aviva Insight app, which is available from the iOS store or the Android stores, and just available as a download from there. We can also expand the reach of our HMI or SCADA solution by using InTouch Access Anywhere. InTouch Access Anywhere, as you may previously have seen, is our HTML5 SCADA solution that allows us to connect to a centralized solution. So it really plugs into your remote desktop environment or your terminal services environment. So you do need some infrastructure in the back end. What I'm really going to focus on in the next 5 or 10 minutes is the InTouch Web client, which is one of the newer clients, and I'm going to talk about how we can use InTouch Web to expand the reach of our visualization without having to put in extra infrastructure, without having to have additional IT resources. So let's take a typical solution that's delivered by an OEM or a piece of machinery that's put in by an SI, a system integrator, or by an end user. Typically that might have an HMI screen built in, or an SI might develop that. And usually you would have an operator that has to look at that for information, historical information, real-time information about that piece of equipment. What if that operator could see on a dashboard screen vital information about that piece of equipment without having to move away from what he's doing, without having to look up from tasks that he's already performing? If he's got that information on a TV screen at the end of the line, or a visualization screen at the readily available, then he can see that important information without having to look up from what he's doing, really. Or what if that operator has to look after a number of pieces of equipment? What if we could supply all that information in one dashboard screen, a large screen at the end of a production line that covers all the machinery within that process? So really giving him performance indicators about each piece of equipment that's in that production line. What about plant managers? They might want to see different or additional KPI information. Your plant manager might want to see information about what's going on in the process, what the stock levels are, what the running costs are for the pieces of equipment. What about operational teams, operational managers? They might want to know, they're not really interested in the process. What they want to know is how the machinery is performing in the background. So if we could provide them KPI information about the equipment and how they can see that in an easy access web portal without having to go down to the plant to see that data. We can also expand that to business users. So if we can embed our dashboards into intranet or SharePoint sites, we can provide information to people like environmental officers or scheduling or planning teams, continuous improvement teams, and they can have that information available in a dashboard format without having to do any manipulation of historical data or have access to the control system. So let's have a quick look at how we configure and enable the InTouch Web client. So the InTouch Web client runs as a web service. It doesn't require Internet Information Services or IIS to run. Sorry, stop doing that. So it doesn't require Internet Information Services to run. It runs as a service on the HMI or SCADA machine that you have configured. You just enable the service in InTouch Application Manager. And then from there we can access our Orchestra graphics within a web portal. So as you can see there, we've got Orchestra graphics running in dashboard formats. So what we can do then is provide access to those Orchestra graphics via a web portal. So you'll see in this short video that we go in our graphic toolbox, we select which graphics we want to share, and we set a root folder for those graphics. We then also are able to set a home page. So if we know we want to see a particular dashboard or a process overview screen, we can select that as our home symbol. You can then switch to the web client via a similar method as you do to switch from window maker to window viewer. It just opens the orchestra symbols in a web portal. And what you'll see there is our orchestra symbols in a web format. The navigation is built automatically based on the root folder that you've selected, and you can easily navigate those. There is now also a search function that allows you to search that navigation tree, so you can quickly find the dashboards that you require. As we go through this, what you'll see is when you select a graphic or a dashboard, you'll see that the application name and symbol are displayed in the title bar across the top, so you always know which navigation you're in. That title bar also contains some buttons that allow you to navigate back and forward through the application or through the graphics that are available. So the home button just takes you back to your home symbol that you've selected. The share option allows us to provide an iframe link, and you can dynamically change which graphic or which data is displayed within that dashboard or process graphic by changing the properties within the iframe link. We can then use that to embed into a SharePoint site or into an intranet-based site. And so we can provide access to that dashboard without providing access to the users directly to the control system. Really good security feature. And then we've got a notifications area, so if you've got any notifications set up, you will see those there. So if any limits are breached, anything goes out of tolerance, you'll see alerts there. You've also got the full screen option, which is really useful if you're wanting to display a dashboard in a television at the end of a line, or a big monitor in a reception area, anything like that. So really useful for that. And then what you'll also see is if we change the resolution of our application or change the size of our web browser, the graphics resize automatically to fit that available space. And as we reduce that space further to fit on, say, a tablet device or a mobile device, you'll see that it creates a hamburger type button to show where our home screen and full screen options are. So that's the web client. In InTouch 2017 Update 3, there have been additional functionality added to that web client, which makes it easier to use, more compliant with security concerns, and also enhances the user experience. So we're putting things like hyperlink animations, which allow us to browse to internal or external websites. Also, you can use that to switch between orchestra symbols within your InTouch Web client as well. You've just seen the share option, which is the functionality that gives us the ability to publish orchestra symbols to a web portal or to a web page. We have now got provision to incorporate trend clients and alarm client controls. Those are now converted from .NET into a web format. All the functionality is ported over from the .NET controls into this new web client, and at runtime it converts it into that HTML5 format. The search functionality is also available in the navigation tree, as I just mentioned when we was running through that last video. We have added HTTPS support, so using the new system management service, we can now provide an encrypted connection to the web portal. We have ported some functionality across into the web client as well, so numerical formatting. So Andrew talked about standards last time. Numerical formatting allows us to achieve some of that in the web client. Alarm border animation for easily visualizing which pieces of equipment are in an alarm state, and connector and connection points, which are really useful if you're using P&ID type drawings or process type graphics. So those are now all enabled in the InTouch Web client. So I just mentioned it, the HTTPS support, so we can now provide end-to-end encrypted communication. So there was a new piece of software included in System Platform in Update 3, which is called System Management Service, that allows us to provide security certificate authentication between your web client and your HMI application for end-to-end encryption. We just covered it, the alarm and trend client controls, how we can visualize those now, and as I said, the .NET control, that's converted into a web format, so it really shows how we can leverage the alarm information into a web portal now. Also, the trend control is converted and ported across into an HTML5 format. All the same functionality exists within those, and in the trend client control, some of those functions are actually enhanced rather than reduced. So what you'll see in this short video is how we can interact with those converted .NET controls. So you see that it allows us to scroll up and down on the alarm control, and it allows us to interact with the trend control as well. So as we scroll across back and forward, we can see what information is available in the trend control. That's all I've got for today. We've got one question, I believe, in the chat. That question is around the licensing for InTouch Web. So the question is, how is InTouch Web client licensed? Okay, so there's only one real licensing option for InTouch Web, and that is that it's a unlimited client license. So we offer one free connection, concurrent connection to any single InTouch application. The licensing option is an unlimited client connection to that one InTouch application.